Kimberly Sam McCall, physical therapist, lover of movement, posture princess. Okay, what's today? Today's about walking, the most complex movement that humans do, and I mean that they do just every day kind of thing. If you think about it, kids, the fact that kids learn to walk on their own, we don't help them. We just move things out and let them move, grow and move and scoot and walk. That tells you that we are wired to know how to walk well. So many people in other countries that carry things on their head and balance and walk many miles, maybe they're firewood, maybe just weight, and they carry their children on their body. They walk, and they walk much different than many people in the Western world. What is that? Okay, well today we're going to go over a couple of walking techniques. And I mean, these are just little tools to use. Remember, I focus on structure, not on muscle. I focus on relaxing, which is usually the belly and the back. And then I focus on lengthening and playing like you have something on your head when you are moving, because that causes a connection. The more you connect better, which means that your joints are all doing what they're designed to do in harmony, like a skilled movement, the less pain you have, the more muscle strength you have, the greater bone density you have, the more relaxed you are, the more efficient in movement. So everything's connected in my world, meaning how my shoulder moves, how my hip moves, how my foot moves, how my neck moves. When I get that connection going on, I feel so much better. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to start off with my old faithful Beanie Baby. So if you have one, put it on your head. If you don't have one, get a wash rag, something like that. So I need to start you off centering. If I don't help you center your body, then it's a mess. Because just think of any sport. If you don't start off with a foundation and understand the stance before you execute that move, then you don't have a good execution. All movement's the same. It has a foundation. And I just teach the foundation to all foundations. Now that ought to make you think for a while. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to stretch up into this Beanie Baby, okay? Now what I'm going to do with my pelvis is very important, but it's going to start at my feet. So let's keep this simple for you. Most people, when they stand, it's a reflection of the way they sit. So if you sit slumped a lot, or your legs are crossed, or you're on your phone in a C curve, then you're going to pretty much probably have somewhat of a C curve in your body, which means usually that the upper back is stiff and kind of kyphotic, which means slumped over, and the pelvis is slumped under. Pelvises are usually easier to move around. There's greater joint range of motion. It's more difficult up in the upper thoracic, upper neck, in the neck and thoracic. It's more difficult to shift that. So what I've learned over many years is to tell people to stretch up into something, because that tends to begin to help people to get unlocked and get rid of some tension up in here. It's a good start. And if you relax your belly and you stretch up, you'll feel over time, if you don't feel it right away, you'll feel this thing that sticks out, it will pull in and up. So cosmetically, you'll like the feeling of this coming up. So for my pelvis to not be tucked, I could just stick it out, but that's kind of isolating. So why don't I start with my feet? So if I start and just pull my toes up, it's really good for your feet. It's not easy to do for a lot of people. But let's just pull the toes up, and the knuckle of your big toe is going to be touching the ground, and that's a good exercise. So if my toes come up, it automatically will shift my weight back into my heels. My knees will be a little straighter versus this. So your butt will stick out a little. Now my belly, I want to relax it. I stretch up. Here's the, get a feel, get a mental feeling of what this is. And then like it shows you, really get into it. It feels like you're a little pitched forward. It feels like you're sort of falling, your upper body's going this way and your butt's going that way. And that's not a bad thing, because if you look in the mirror, you'll see it's not as exaggerated as it feels. You may feel like this, but when you look in the mirror, you're like, wow, it doesn't feel, it feels weirder than it looks. That's what I should say. Okay, so when you walk up a hill, and by the way, these movements I teach are really good to do on a hill, you will always lean into a hill. It makes sense, right? I don't mean slump into a hill, I mean tip. You know, here's the hill. The hill is at an angle. I can walk up a hill and tip into it. Now there's situations where you don't do that, and that's really high level runners, and there's a lot of people who have, technically, they know how to be stacked so well in their spine and hips that they can go up a hill and not be leaning into the hill. But I find it really helpful if you do, because you'll strengthen your back and your butt. And you need to get the feel of this lean, because this lean gives you the ability to know how to extend your back leg and push off. And that's real important in walking. When you walk on flat ground, it's much more challenging, because you don't have a lot of resistance to push against, so you don't feel it. You gotta have a finer sense of feel. So what I'm gonna do is show you a couple of tricks to give you that feel of how to extend the leg when you walk. This is the leg it's extending. This leg is catching. Heel, toe, heel, toe. It is not the natural movement of a human body. It's not efficient. If you did that for 10 miles, or you did what I did, you would know which one's more efficient. Okay, this actually feels like a falling forward. So if I tip and I fall, I catch myself with my front leg and I push up with my back. Everyone asks me, do I catch myself with my heel or my toe? So my answer is always, look at an ice skater. Ice skaters do land on the back of their skate, but it's so subtle because they're gliding. So I'm teaching you a form of gliding. I think ice skating is the perfect way to see how to glide. So technically, yes, you land heel and forward. And it took me a while to grasp this, because when I was pushing off with my leg, it happened so quick that I would hit my toe first. So you're really gonna have to play with this. Okay, my first tool is a chair. Now, this is a rolling chair, and this is if you don't have anyone to push against. Let's play like I have a human being here. They've got their back to me, and I'm pushing them. That's another way of doing this. But a rolling chair, and even better, a grocery cart, and I like the tall grocery carts more, like Sam's and Costco's, because it's like right here, you don't have to lean. It's just less technical. Number one, you are not pushing with your hands. You are pushing with your legs. This would be pushing with my hands and shoulders. Pushing with my shoulders and my arms and my upper body. See that? That's not what I want to do. This is just here as a move, a force that I'm going to move through. These are stabilized, meaning I'm not really using this. I'm going to push. So let's take the camera back a little, see if we can get more in there. Down. Yeah. So I'm going to push. Yeah. I'm going to push my legs See that? Bing! My legs are pushing the chair, and my foot, I like to think about that my whole foot is being used. So when I go forward, I fall onto my front foot, and I use my whole foot to accelerate through my butt, and then I land on my other one. So this is my catch leg, and this is my momentum leg. And you can use a chair to do that, okay? Now, I'm gonna add one other tool, walking backwards. I've been doing this for a long time, walking backwards. It's now becoming popular. I think National Geographic just put out an article about it. I think they call it retro walking. Nothing like a new name to make something popular.
Sounds like old walking.
Old walking. So it's an old, I don't know why they would call it retro, but anyway, it's backwards walking. It's really cool. So you could do like this all in your house. You could go forward. So let's play with this. I'm going to push off with my back leg. Let's show the feet. Yeah, there we go. I'm just using my hands in a steady way to move through. Now I'm going to go backwards. So I'm going to go toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. Okay, now with looking at the rest of my body, watch me do that. What you're going to notice is I'm not upright. I'm not straight. I'm leaning forward. I'm leading with the boudé, my butt. So toe, heel, whoops, toe, heel, toe, heel. And if you go slow, you'll be more challenged, okay? So let's come up with the camera so you can see up higher right there. Good. Toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel. It's really kind of nice. I mean, you don't have to make this, you really don't have to do hours of this. But when you do toe, heel, you get that feel. Well, you start to kick in a lot of muscle groups that you're not used to using. You also start to feel you'll start to feel how much the foot and ankle need to be a part of walking, okay? A lot of people love that for their knees. If they have knee pain, they do backwards walking. Remember, you're doing backwards walking to make you more efficient for forward walking. Often tools that are challenging with balance will give you the ability to do whatever you want to do better. We really think of balance as, oh, yoga pose. I'm really kind of tired of that because your life, your whole movement life is a balance with gravity. I am balancing with gravity right now. I'm always balancing with gravity. Even lying down, it's me and gravity for the rest of my life. Always the two of us having a relationship with my bones and gravity, my structure and gravity. Always. Not just when I'm playing tennis or pickle or something like that, but when I am just living. Okay? So we'll do this one more time. So I like to press up, and then remember, this is a stable force. I'm not using this. I'm creating a stable, I'm just being stable here while I really use, let's go down to the legs, while I really use my legs. I'm landing on remember, I'm catching myself on my left. I'm pushing off, I catch, I push off. So walking is a glide, and if you want to exaggerate, I'm a big fan of exaggeration. You can lean over and you can push off like an ice skater. You can ice skate around the house, because sometimes when we imitate a movement or someone moving, we do it so much better. Now, I do that a lot. I'm really big on watching and imitating. My neurological system picks up on lots of details when I do that. You may find that you're like that too. I know in Kung Fu, if I am watching somebody move and I move with them, my body gets a whole lot more detail. And it's really the details of movement that are the secret to getting strong, balance, and out of pain. And this is so either overlooked or not noticed in our society today, that the details of the skill of a movement, the efficiency of a movement, like walking, is what gives you the tools to heal, or to be stronger, or to do your sport better, or to have more mobility. All these things people go out to look for to get, separating, like I'm going to go get my cardio, I'm going to go get my strength training, I'm going to go get this, I'm going to go get that. All of those things come together. That's what I teach. They all are designed to start together, meaning you gain a centering, you move well, a good foundation, you'll get strength, you'll get mobility, you'll get balance. Then you can take that foundation out to whatever sport, activity you love to do, and just take it to that higher level. And that's basically what the Wakal method is. It's a skilled movement therapy. So have fun with your walking and tell me what you think. So let's ask questions.
Mandy in Milwaukee says, you say we relax more, and it's more easily done when we're stretching up, but why do I feel tense? Does it get better?
Yes, it gets better. And you feel tense at first because it's so new to your body. And actually, it's good to know this. Okay, so when I press up into this Beanie Baby, I will feel some tension, good tension right here at my abs. I'll feel them kick in, and I'll feel tense inside. Then I have to relax. So I move my body into this position, and I relax. The more I do that, there's not much tension. And so you can always take it to a higher level. For instance, I can stand here with no tension, and I'm stretching up and I don't think about it. But if I want to add a little, because I'm going to press up a little into this Beanie Baby, I'll feel a little tension, and then I relax. Remember, whenever you learn a new movement, which is kind of what you're doing here, even though you're born knowing these movements, you forgot them. So now we're going to get back into them. If I learn a new movement like tennis, I am going to look tense when I first start doing it, because neurologically I am not used to doing it. I have to form what's called motor engrams. A lot of people like to say muscle memory, but there's really no such thing. Well, I say there's no such thing. It's really improper to say muscle memory. It's more, there's a lot of new philosophy, but motor engram is what I always called it, meaning you do something thousands of times, as you and I all do, driving cars, doing all sorts of things. You do it without thinking about it. So the more you stretch up, relax, stretch up, relax, pretty soon, guess what? You're just up. You're upright. And then you can keep doing it. You can keep getting, just like you can keep getting better at tennis. That is what I call the art form of movement that is so lost today. It's why we like to go back and do things over and over, because we like how they feel. There's a connection there.
Dr. Daniel in Delaware says, but if I lean into the hill, won't my Beanie Baby fall off?
Yes, you're not going to have a Beanie Baby on the hill, doctor. I like all the D's. Delaware. You're not going to have a Beanie Baby on the hill. You're going to, I like to have a Beanie Baby on when I'm walking and showing you how to do stuff. But if you lean into the hill, you won't have a Beanie Baby. You have to play like because you obviously are stretching at an angle. That's all that is.
Bill in Benicia, that's in California, says, the backward walk looks a little like Michael Jackson's moonwalk.
Yeah. God, wasn't that good? It is. I think it is.
Toe heel.
Yeah, but there's a lot more to it. I mean, if you watch breakdancing, there are certain activities, sports, dances that are more neurologically balanced than others. And I'm going to call it breakdancing. What else do they call it now? Oh dear, I'm showing my age. But they are very balanced movements. What I mean by that is they take a lot of skill to do them well. That is different than ballet. Now I'm going to kind of do a little thing. Ballet originally was just, Russian ballet was just moving from the center. It wasn't this pulling in, tucking, and all this stuff. We have changed a lot of movements in our society, like in dance, like ballet, for an aesthetic look that compromises the spine. Because I've worked with I've worked with a handful of high-level dancers, ballet dancers, and it really is hard on their body. So just to let you know, breakdancing and moonwalk and all those things were, in so many ways, so much more balanced. Belly dancing, flamingo dancing,
Hip hop steps.
hip hop. See, there it is. We used to call it breakdancing. Hip hop. All of that is much more, can I say, functional. You don't have to manipulate your body to do it, but there takes a skill to doing it that doesn't manipulate. And the more you get to know how to move from your center and relaxed, you'll notice it. You will see, you'll go, wow, that looks like a manipulation. Versus, wow, look at that flamingo dancer. Look at that tango. Look at those tango people. They're not manipulating their body. They're just falling in line with each other. Which reminds me, I want to teach you one more thing. I forgot this. I'm going to real quickly show you how to turn. So, because that made me think of tango. So you have a center. And if you've ever danced, you know that you follow. You follow with your center, okay? And it's really relaxing because you can feel your feet move and you know your center is lined up with the other person. It's a really cool feeling, all right? So in walking and turning, it's the same thing. So what I like to do is I like people to either grab their belt buckle or their pants and grab it. I'm going to grab with my right. I'm going to walk, and when I turn, I'm not going to do my head. I'm going to turn my belly, my center, and my feet pivot. Okay? So I'm going to turn, and I'm going to turn. Okay, you can go up. There, thanks. So I am not, go ahead and bring it up, just so I can show them what that is. I'm not turning with my head with my feet planted and twisting my back. I'm turning from here. Very powerful. If you do tennis, boom, boom. If you do martial arts, Aikido, Kung Fu, you know there is a power in this center. And tango, you know. But it's really cool because you can put your hand there and turn. You can put your hand there and turn. So you're pivoting on your toes, okay? And you can feel the ease. I mean, it's hard at first. Demands coordination. It will bring better balance. But I wanted to give you that because I forgot. Let's go.
Sammy in South Carolina says, what pain can walking backward help prevent or fix?
Knees, a lot of knee problems. And then you can go try it and tell me what else it does. It depends a lot.
So tell me why knees.
Okay. It depends a lot on how your body is set up beforehand. Like if I don't like to say, oh, this is going to make your knees better for everybody. That's what articles will say. But the reason I think people tend to feel better in their knees when walking backwards is, can you move that down a little just so I can get my knees in it? When I step back, I'm engaging a lot of the muscles that are designed to move me forward, okay? And my knee is not, I'm bringing my thigh bone back, okay? And when my thigh bone goes back, it takes some of the weight out of the front of my knee, okay? When I move forward, if I already have a lot of weight in the front of my knee and I move forward, people tend to hurt more. Now, I am making generalizations because everybody goes downstairs and there is weight in the front of your knees. Everybody that skis knows there's weight in your knees. It's more technical than that. It's where your pelvis is. and it's your habits of life. It's whether you hold tension in your thighs, you hold tension here. There are lots of factors, but most people have ankle and knee. They feel better in their ankles and their knees when they do backward walking. And you can always email me and tell me what you feel better with, because I always like to know. Yeah. Oh, I got my BB hanging me. Wow.
Last but not least, Sandy in San Diego says, but when I'm hiking, I always feel I'm driving off that front leg, not catching.
Okay, that's good. All right, I like that. So here we go. So let's do this. You're hiking. Let's make this a big hill. All right? You're hiking. That's all I have right now. You're going, I'm driving on that leg. I'm getting, boom. That's getting me up, right? And hiking, because I live in the mountains. Well, there's two things. You could be driving on both. You could drive on your back, and you can drive on your front. You might want to try using your back leg more and see if you are balancing those two forces out. People love to drive with their front leg. But what if you drove with this, boom, and you just found a better balance between the two? I'm not saying you're not going to drive with the front, but that's because you're used to that. So think of going up that hill, using your back leg, and I'm not saying you're not going to use the front one. See what happens. Just going to bring more balance between the two. Okay, so wrapping this up. See you next week. You're supposed to subscribe and like and share and like and subscribe. And then I'll see you next week for something else. Take care. Bye.